What is up, you guys? This is Lucas Sullivan from Games Radar Plus, and I'm here with Lorenzo Valoria.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going?
And we're here to talk about Titanfall 2's multiplayer. So I actually, yes, got some hands-on, 3 hours of hands-on, if you could believe it, with the pre-alpha tech test for Titanfall 2 multiplayer. And got to see quite a bit, I would say. It was 3 modes and 3 maps. The 3 modes I got to play were Bounty Hunt, which is 5v5, Pilot versus Pilots, which is 8v8 with no Titans, and Hardpoint, my personal favorite, which is 6v6. And I really just want to go over a bunch of the basics for what I saw in the game, like the classes, the loadouts, the weapons, all very essential parts of multiplayer.
All right, first question. We got 3 modes. How many of those modes included the bots from the first game? You know how they had those little guys that would run around and you'd shoot them, you get like a minuscule amount of points compared to killing another player. Are they all included in all 3 modes that you played, or
they are not?
They,
they are only in the Bounty Hunt mode, which I actually like because I'm not crazy about the AI bots. I was sort of concerned how they were not very satisfying to kill in the first Titanfall. But the way Bounty Hunt works is these units come onto the map in drop pods in waves, 3 different waves. And by killing them or other players, you accrue cash, basically. And at the end of each wave, you deposit that cash in a bank, which is kind of like a capture point because everyone's rushing to it.
Right.
And yeah, it's basically the same experience from Titanfall 1, but just a lot more fun because there's new Titan types. And, more variety to the units and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm happy to see that AI bots are back, but only in 1 mode.
Yeah, that's decent because like in Titanfall 1, it was just they were in every mode and you didn't want to necessarily see them everywhere because you wanted to just shoot people.
They kind of clogged up the map.
Right.
And speaking of the new Titan types, so I got to see 2 different kinds of Titans. And their build is having unique personalities. Really, that just means they have different voices, which is kind of cool. But I got to play as Scorch, which is like the Fire Titan. He has these really cool abilities where he can throw down a gas canister and then like whip out a line of fire. And if the fire hits the canister, then thermite just goes everywhere and starts burning people. So
yeah, I was watching your footage playing the game, and some guy just like dropped a big fire like storm, and it just lit up an entire section of the map, which is pretty cool. Yeah. But
equally cool is the Ion Titan, which is energy based, so it has a shoulder-mounted laser. But on top of that, it's got a dang old chest laser, which it shoots out in a giant beam.
Iron Man style.
Exactly.
Yeah, like a giant chest beam.
And one welcome change is that you don't get a Titanfall just for showing up. So it's not something that builds up over time automatically. You actually have to do stuff like capture points, get kills, to activate your Titan. And the more you achieve and accomplish in a quick succession, you can build it up faster and faster. But you get this extra orange chunk of your Titanfall bar that ticks down if you're just stationary. So it encourages faster play, which I really like.
Cool, so it kind of forces you to go for the objectives, go for kills, so you're not just sitting in one spot waiting for 2 minutes while your Titan like comes down.
Exactly.
You can just hop to your Titan, That makes sense. That's cool.
I'm a fan. Now let's talk weapons. There's the usual bunch in Titanfall 2. There's the assault rifle, submachine gun, light machine gun, sniper rifle, shotgun, and grenade launcher. But I didn't see that many iterations within each type of weapon class. That might just be because this is a pre-alpha build, but it was definitely a concern in the first Titanfall that there weren't enough weapons to strive for.
That was kind of the thing that turned me off to Titanfall, is because the first game you kind of just were playing maps just to play maps, and you weren't really like going for anything. You'd get additional cards and that, but that was just kind of random. You couldn't really build up your arsenal as much. Do you see them kind of finding a way to remedy that at all in Titanfall 2?
Well, you can level up individual guns to unlock mods, stuff you'd expect like the quick reloads and like faster aim down sights. But yeah, it is a little bit of concern that there might not be Call of Duty is famous for having just dozens of guns.
Prestige upon prestige.
Yeah, you can
little
keep it going
icon
forever.
thingies and attachments going on forever. Yeah.
But it looks like Titanfall 2 just won't follow that philosophy from what I can tell. Another thing with the weapons is that your secondary can either be a pistol or an anti-Titan artillery for your secondary. So the anti-Titan weapons are pretty cool. They come in plasma launcher, laser sniper, and my favorite, magnetic grenade launcher varieties. So they're all pretty effective.
And from watching you playing your footage, it seemed like there was a lot more energy-based weapons than the previous
A lot
game.
of lasers, a lot of plasma launchers, and big balls of energy shooting at Titans.
Which is also kind of crazy because he had that machine gun laser rifle, and I wasn't playing, but to me it looked like it was just like impossible to see the person that you were shooting at with that laser rifle because you got these giant beads of red just coming out of your gun and just blocking your vision. But
yeah, it's a little cumbersome. So pistols, there was this sort of divisive smart pistol in the first Titanfall.
yes, and I loved it. It was great.
So it's coming back, but not in the way you'd expect. In Titanfall 2, it's actually a boost. So what boosts are is they got rid of the burn card system entirely from Titanfall 1, which I think was a smart move.
Right.
And in its place are boosts, which are basically temporary power-ups that you get just by a meter building up, kind of like the Titanfall dropping.
Okay.
So there were two boosts I got to see in-game. Amped weapons, which just supercharges your guns, pretty standard. And ticks, which are little drones that you toss out, kind of like mines, and then they pop up and start attacking anything before exploding on people.
They're like that little canister that follows Mega Man around in the Mega Man cartoon
Flip
series.
Top or
What was
whatever his name is.
Yeah, whatever. But he'd pop out the little soda and then Mega Man would drink it.
Now here's another change for Titanfall 2. Part of your loadout is actually sort of a class choice. They don't call them classes, but now there are 5 different types that I got to see. There's the Pulse Blade, which throws out a sonar pulsing dagger that can see people through walls. It's pretty
This
cool.
is one of those ninja-inspired pieces of arsenal that you get. It's like a kunai.
It looks
right?
exactly like a kunai. There's also this thing called the gravity star that you throw out, which is
a
replaces your
ninja
grenade.
star that sucks in people who are in the vicinity, so they kind of just can't move as well.
Yeah.
And it just puts them right in your crosshairs if you're waiting for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the ninja weaponry. Another class is the Grapple. So people paid a lot of attention to the fact that in Titanfall 2 multiplayer there are now grappling hooks, which are pretty great. They basically pull you towards whatever you're targeting, so it's like Batman.
Bringing out the Batman in all of us.
Yeah, Batman style, not Uncharted swinging style. But yeah, that is only for one class, so not everyone can do it.
Yeah, it seems like it would just kind of enhance your ability to traverse the environment a little bit. Like if you can't, reach that rooftop, like with a double jump, you could just grapple to it and then double jump back up to the top.
Exactly. And I think when people get really skilled with it, they'll be able to do all kinds of tricky, like speed maneuvers around corners and stuff like that. I'm really excited to see what people do with
It'd be great if you could grapple to like a Titan and pull yourself onto the top
Yes,
of it.
you can actually. It's perfect for rodeos because all you have to do is just, get it in your sights, pray to God it doesn't punch you out of the air. The other classes are the Hollow Pilot, which sends out a little decoy. It's kind of funny because it just dies immediately if it hits a wall, which looks goofy. The Stim, which I went with, you basically activate this syringe, even though you're a robot apparently. So, side note, you can play as droids.
That's an option, right? You could be a human or a robot.
Yeah, which is cool. I like that. The Stim lets you heal super fast and run super fast for a little bit, so it's great for getting away from fights or just taking cover and then boosting back up. And finally, the Cloak, which I did not get to play as because it's unlocked at a higher level, but it does what you think it would. It turns you invisible.
Probably the same thing that it did in the first one. There was a cloak in Titanfall 1 as well.
Yes. So back to rodeos. You'll remember from Titanfall 1 that the best way for a pilot to take on a Titan, sort of a David versus Goliath situation, is the pilot
jumps
on
his freaking back.
Yep, just ride
Rip that
him
thing
cowboy.
open, and shoot the robot brains right out of him. But
Yes.
it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Now
so
you kind of like rip out a battery.
Yeah, the first time you rodeo a Titan, you rip out its battery, which takes off a chunk of its health. Then every time after that, you throw a grenade in the hatch, basically, and watch it go. But from what I could tell, there's no way to stay on top of the Titan and shoot it out like in Titanfall 1.
Right. Which it seems kind of interesting that they decided to do it that way, because it kind of makes you, you're on top of the Titan, you have to keep on doing that. You have to jump on the back, jump on, hop off,
Leapfrog,
jump on, pop off, yeah. Instead of just, if the pilot in the Titan isn't doing anything, you can't just, hose down the brain until the Titan explodes. So you have to keep on jumping on the back, which is kind of weird to me.
Yeah, it looks a little odd when you're seeing someone else do it, for sure.
Yeah. But you can also pull that battery out and shove it into a friendly Titan, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, it's a super cool change.
To kind of like boost their health pool, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't actually aware of it when I was playing. I wish I had been, but it's neat that you can, ride a friendly Titan and boost it up instead of just riding enemy Titans all the live long day. So back to modes real quick. We talked about Bounty Hunt, which is 5v5, but there's also the Pilots versus Pilots, 8v8 with no Titans. It's interesting. Like, you'd think the maps would be specialized for each mode because of how different it is to have only pilots or pilots and Titans and AI, or just pilots and Titans. But from what I could tell, all the maps support all three modes, and I'm not really sure that every map would be as fun on Pilots versus Pilots, because some are just way too open, clearly, for accommodating Titans.
I don't think I'm a fan of the Pilots versus Pilots taking place on like a Titan-centric map, where like there was the map that was like an open field almost, and it's just a lot of flat, not a lot of verticality. And it kind of feels like a Call of Duty map where you can't really like run on the walls and do all this acrobatic stuff that you want to do as a pilot.
Yeah.
And it just kind of takes away the Titanfall out of Titanfall. I feel like it's kind of bizarre to me that they didn't customize maps specifically for the pilots where you're running around. Well, we don't actually know what all the maps are going to look like, but
right.
I'm hoping that they have like specialized pilot versus pilot maps where you could, run around the walls and do all the ninja stuff that you want to do in Titanfall 2.
Yeah, maybe just like a chunk of a larger map.
And just not have the Titans involved like at all. Just to have this crazy, boots on the ground kind of battle. You know what I mean?
I'd say far and away the mode that I had the most fun in was Amped Hardpoint, which is, your classic 3 capture points, and you're running around trying to maintain dominance over the map. But the really interesting thing is, so, you capture points, but then if you stay on the point, it eventually becomes amped, and that doubles the score it generates for your team.
So you kind of want to stick around, play defense, and then you get bonus points for playing defense.
Yeah, you don't. It doesn't make sense to just ring around the rosy the map the whole time and recapture points over and over. It makes sense to like split up and then have people defending each point.
Cool.
So I thought that was really cool. And all the maps felt great for Hardpoint with the Titans in the mix. Just like Titanfall 1, you can either pilot it yourself, tell it to stay in a certain position, or have it follow you around. And like Titanfall 1, every match ends with the epilogue where the losers have to get to an escape ship.
Get to the chopper, you gotta go.
Exactly, and I always thought that was really fun, so it's nice to see it come back. Another feature that we didn't get to try too much of, but will be in the final build of the game, is networks. So these are basically like clans where you just join, a designated team or start your own, and then you basically have people you can play with right from the get-go. So that's a very welcome addition.
Cool. So you feel good about Titanfall 2? You excited to play it later this year?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The pilot mobility is always super fun, and I like how there's more variety to the Titans this time around. And same goes for the fact that AI bots are only in one mode, so I won't have to see them if I don't want to.
Sweet.
That does it for this video. Be sure to go to GamesRadar.com for more Titanfall 2 coverage, and go to our YouTube page for more awesome videos.